Nick Ryan,
How are you?
director of the summit,
Yes.
Sundance winner, Academy Award nominee.
No, I didn't get nominated
You
for
didn't get a
Academy.
nominee. Okay.
Long list, but let's not do that.
Long list. Oh my God. Okay. So what brings you to Web Summit?
We are here. I'm working on my next film, which is a feature about the 1916 Rising, and a component of the development phase of that film is we are running an Indiegogo campaign to raise some funds for development.
Okay. So an Indiegogo campaign for those that are less tech
So
savvy.
Indiegogo is a crowdfunding campaign, and it's indiegogo.com, and 6 Days of the Rising is what the film is titled at the moment. So we're trying to raise $100,000 to do some development work on rebuilding Dublin pre-1916, just to destroy it again with visual effects.
Really? With CGI, is it?
CGI, yeah.
Wow, that's incredible. I think it's really cool that almost 100 years ago we were fighting a civil war, we were fighting a revolution, now we're fighting a digital revolution of a different kind. And
yes.
What do you think? How have things changed?
There is, communication's different. It's one of the main ones, I suppose. If the Rising was to happen today, everyone would know it instantly, and part of the attraction. One of the things that always fascinated me about the story of the Rising is the fact that, like, 3 days in, people were still shopping on Grafton Street and standing on the bottom of Delir Street watching, what's going on up there, and they'd be dropping as stray bullets would hit them and kill them, and the biggest casualties in the Rising were actually civilians. But anyway, technology would.
And was that a function of people just did not know what was going on and they had no way of communicating?
Function of Dublin's natural curiosity,
really?
and
they just weren't too worried about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like what's going on. I mean, you have to remember back on Easter Monday, 1916, 95% of the people in the country would have been, absolutely 100% against what was going on.
Yeah.
And that's part of the story, is that, the fact that it changed not only the opinion in Ireland eventually. Now it didn't change entirely by the Saturday, but certainly by the execution of the leaders of the Rising, that it changed. But that's the whole political aspect of it. But the reality is, in this story, it's an incredible story, and one that changed the world forever. I mean, that may sound like a very grand statement to make, but it did. I mean, the resonance of 1916 is felt today in Libya and Syria, and
which were organised. I think the Egyptian revolution or Rising was organised by Twitter.
Well, there you go. I mean, that's the thing, and that is very true. And there's a good point of using technology to create, a modern day version of something like that. But for me, this is a story about the human cost of insurrection, and to be quite honest, I'm interested in telling a story. But as I say, people are going to go, well, it's history, it's past, it's 100 years ago nearly. But as I say, the resonance is today, and so it's as current today as it was, and so it's just an incredible part of history that nobody's really actually documented on film. I mean, we had Neil Jordan's great Michael Collins, but that really deals with the Civil War, and so does Ken Loach's film. But there's an incredible story to be told here, and we hope to be the ones to tell the version that everyone wants to see.
And what are your targets? How quickly do you think could you raise the funding? Or
well, as I say, the funding, that aspect of the funding is purely for the development. So
sure.
It's going well. I mean,
awesome.
we launched here on Tuesday.
Okay.
I think everyone's kind of busy doing bits and pieces on everything, so it's really hard to say. So obviously, as media goes out, I mean, it's been going up, which is great. So I mean,
super.
What's great about crowdfunding is you get a sense of interest, and B, you get a lot of comments and feedback from people. So as a filmmaker, that's an interesting approach that normally what happens is you make a film, you go out there and you talk about it, and there's really nothing you can do to change anything at that point. I'm not saying that a lot of things will change because of comments, but it is interesting to get a feedback before something actually happens.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
a different approach.
And it's kind of giving ownership to people as well.
Yeah, I mean, to a point, and people, I think you find people who love film, if that makes sense, and
absolutely.
And the chance or the opportunity to be involved along that process is something special. And if you can involve people and supporters in that's brilliant.
Well, maybe it's the future. So remind us again of it's Indiegogo.
Indiegogo.com. So it's INDIE Gogo. So Indiegogo. I think they're the largest crowdfunding site in the world, so and they've been very supportive.
And we search when we go onto that website
6 Days of the Rising. I think you can either type in SIX or the number 6.
Okay, super. Well, I'm certainly going to support it. So thanks very much for your time, Nick. It's a pleasure to meet you.
So much, you too, man.
Cool, man.